again being camera person and singer and all that sort of thing. So welcome, and we're so glad you're tuning in to West Corners Baptist Church service and our message and the song here. Not quite as elaborate as some, but still. Anyway, so the song we'll sing this time is What a Friend We Have in Jesus. And something we really need to remember right now, that it's beneficial to us. And I don't know if you can see my t-shirt, but it says, inhale, exhale, remember to breathe, right? And also in this case, remember to go to Jesus for all our cares and concerns. So if you want, you can sing along, right? What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forget. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh, because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful, who will all our sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden, cumbered with a load of care? Precious Savior, still a refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do thy friends despise, forsake thee? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In his arms he'll take and shield thee. Thou wilt find a solace there. And I hope you do.
Hi.
Hi,
See,
hi,
everybody's
hi.
Yes, hi. Oh, let's see, what do I want to do today? Well, I guess Proverbs is as good as any. Hey, got some news. We are going to try on June 7th, first Sunday in June, to open the doors and have people come in again. We are going to be going through, this will be for just the morning service. There will not be any Sunday school. There won't be anything else, just that. And we're going to see how that works out, and we're going to have some cleaning stations set up. We're going to be doing some cleaning in the church building here. Although, actually, we were just little bit ahead of the curve as far as shutting things down, and we opened up some windows today. beautiful day. We opened up some windows today and got some of the closed down smell out a little bit. So good to see everybody. All the pictures the caricatures we have. So yes, with regard to trying to do that on Sunday, June 7th, opening up once again, if you're at all anxious or nervous about coming, stay home. We're going to try actually uploading this live when we do the Sunday services from here Sunday morning. It's Sunday morning now, but it's about 1:30 in the morning right now, so it's like, your crazy pastor is at it again. If you're at all anxious, or if you've got a compromised immune system, please stay home. If you've got asthma, please stay home for now. You're not obligated to come here, but I know quite a few of you are wanting to get here, wanting to get together. We're going to have to get together different than we have in the past. That's just going to be the way, it's going to be the way it is. So we're going to be together, but apart, but together. So we're going to try that on the 7th. Broome County has been very, very fortunate, very blessed. We haven't had all that many cases. Of course, the ones we've had have been nasty. So surrounding counties, not quite so much. There's a real struggle going on. Broome County, again, has been very blessed to dodge any number of bullets during this whole thing. So we have to keep that in mind. And while things are progressing forward too, everything has to be monitored and watched very carefully. And we have to act like we've got it already and we could possibly spread it. That's the stand I'm going on. That's the stand a great number of other people are going on. Doesn't matter where it came from. Could have come from the McDonald's cheeseburger in Brazil for all I care. That doesn't matter. The death rate doesn't matter. A good rate is how people are recovering from it. That's a wonderful rate. But all of that really is kind of superfluous to what I believe we're being shown to do. And yeah, we want to hit the local businesses as they open up when we can, as often or more often than we had in the past. Stay away from the chains. Right? Even though people do work there too, it's going to be an interesting time. Your anarchist pastor is looking forward to seeing what happens. I actually prefer when it's readily evident that things are in God's hands. I like when that happens, because we have a tendency to think everything is in our hands, and it's really not. It's really not. You can control your environment this far, right? The old Irish saying, this far and no farther. But that's about it. You can control this, and we're going to be in Proverbs, and we're going to be talking about that. You can control this. You can control what goes into it. You can control what comes out of here. You really can, I know you look at Facebook and you go, well, that's impossible. But it's true. But we need help doing it, and we need God's help doing it, I believe. I know I need his help in doing it. I know I need his help in filtering what comes in here, in the eyes and in the ears. I know he absolutely needs to filter what comes out of my mouth. He needs to sift the things that are in our heart. He needs to sift the things that are in our gut. There's a lot of suspicion going on, a lot of craziness going on, not just here in this country. Don't forget, this is going on all over the world. We've got some people, some friends from our UK trips some really unbelievably bizarre stories. Wales still is in Scotland, very, very hard lockdown mode. Um, good not to be there at this point in time, actually. People were able to get out yesterday to listen to music, to thank you, Mark, Bert, and everybody else who's been putting music on so that we can see it. I personally can't wait to get out and play it, but I have to. So let's look a little bit into what God says in the book of Proverbs about getting smart. And I'm going to be in chapter 3 and chapter 4 of Proverbs primarily. This is being written, of course, by the king of Israel's son. King David had a son, and it's interesting because the son came about in a kind of a, I wouldn't consider it entirely righteous way, but God thinks different than I do. Solomon understood the danger of temptation. As he's writing this, he's writing about wisdom as being the woman. And we get a little bit further, he's going to also personify temptation as a woman. Well, he's a man. Temptation is attractive. Temptation is really, really pretty. Temptation is when you want to eat a whole lot of bacon, but you're only supposed to really eat 2 or 3 strips, or 1. Who could eat 1 strip of bacon? That's insane. My wife can. I've never seen you do it, though. Right? Who can eat 1 cookie? Somebody posted, unless you leave me the whole bag of fig Newtons, don't bother handing me any. Temptation is appetizing. And in this, we'll see where Solomon is personifying temptation as a woman. Very, very enticing, very making you forget other stuff. But we have all kinds of different temptations. Food, right? Watching one more episode of the thing you're binge watching when you really know you should probably get to bed because you gotta get up in the morning or something of that nature. It's stuff that takes us away from a really smart path. Temptation is while we're on the smart path, trying to be smart, trying to do what's right, and temptation is going, yo, over here, look at me. And we go, ooh, that looks really interesting. And we go for it right off the path that God wants us on. This is a human problem, right? A lot of people will say, this is a sin issue. Okay, I'll buy that. But it's a human issue. It is a byproduct of being made of flesh and organs and bone, and not of spiritual things. And as beings made of carnal, fleshly, blood, bonely substances. We tend to want to go to our own and not attain a higher reality. We tend to not want to attain a higher. You ever listen to the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount, the stuff that Jesus said? The meek? Come on, I don't want to be meek. Forgive the enemy? No way. I ain't doing that. Be humble? No. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty great. I don't, the humble stuff is for sissies. The humble stuff is for snowflakes. Right? We tend to think like that a lot. The only reason that people are wearing masks is out of fear. Again, I go back to, you got it, you're going to spread it. And yeah, the mask ain't going to help 100%, but it's better than nothing. And really, do you want to be that much of an idiot? It's pretty simple. The argument is, if it didn't do something, I don't know then why doctors and nurses in operating centers wear them. There's got to be some kind of reason. I guess maybe it's just a fashion statement. I don't know. There's got to be something to it, all right? If we're humble and wise, we look at this entire situation and we look at it as, what can I do to make it better? We don't look at it as, my rights are being violated. Some of them probably are. I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want me in charge of how to handle this, because I'd be violating all kinds of stuff and you'd be very angry at me. Having had some hazmat training, a lot of it, having had first aid training, quite a bit of it, even recently, having had to deal with airborne pathogens and bloodborne pathogens in the past due to fighting two floods here from this church, you learn a lot, and it's not nice, and it's not easy. So we need his wisdom. Chapter 4 of Proverbs. Hear, you children, the instruction of a father, and attend to know understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake you not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also, and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. And it's neat that those two things are separate. Wisdom and understanding. He's got them separated here. With wisdom, you get understanding. With wisdom, you get understanding of yourself. With wisdom, it takes the can opener and pries open your brain a little bit and goes, why don't you look at things from the other person's perspective for a second? Just a second, that's all I'm asking. Wisdom is calling, let me open up your brain just a bit. Because the way it's working right now, not so good. Forsake her not, she shall preserve thee. All of this stuff is that so we live long, healthy, and happy, at peace with things, not constantly struggling with anxieties and at war over things. Peace with yourself, peace with God, better understanding of things that are going on around you, and you might not understand the thing itself, but you understand what to do during it. Wisdom brings you some understanding. If you take the time to do what he's saying, don't forget the good stuff that you know. Remember it. Don't try it once, and if it doesn't work out, forget it. Wisdom is hard. Wisdom is the principal thing. Verse 7, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor, when thou dost embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom, I have led thee in right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be hindered, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not into the way of evil men. It's funny because the Hebrew term of evil also really has a very strong hint of stupidity, brutishness, evil, something to consider. Enter not into the path of the wicked, Go not into the way of evil men. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is like the shining light that shines more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They know not at what they stumble. My son, attend to my words. Incline thy ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart, for they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a crooked mouth and perverse lips. Put far from thee. And this one is really interesting. Verse 25, chapter 4. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. What does that look like? When my eyelids look straight before me, I think it looks like this. Well, let's consider that just for a second. My grandfather Hogan used to say, will you think before you act? Or will you think before you open your mouth? And he said it to me a lot because I would very often not. My father would say the same thing. This is a generational issue that's raised up here. Oh, please remember what I'm teaching you, kids, no matter what age the kids are, and the kids don't. And you're going, oh, facepalm, big time facepalm. When will they ever learn? And this has happened generation after generation after generation. I have the answer, but do we want to pay attention to it? That's the issue. Do we really want to listen to this? And do we want to eat these words so that they're in our guts and live them? You know, a lot of times we don't want to. You know why? Because it's more difficult than general living. What do you do before you make a move? Think about it. Let your eyelids look the way you're going to go first. Then open them and go straight on. That's the picture I get from this verse. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Stop and think. Stop and pray. How's that sound? How do you pray? There's a lot of times when I pray with my eyes open. There are times when I have prayed in my car. God, please, I don't want to die right now. That idiot just went right ahead of me, and it's going to be bad. And I'm closing my eyes, and I'm praying. That's a prayer. That's a prayer. And I try not to call him all kinds of filthy names because of the perverse mouth bit. Okay, at least I'm not dead. We averted that accident, but boy, I want to walk out and punch that guy right in the face for being so stupid and doing what he did in traffic. Nice turn signal, fill in the blank. Doesn't do you a bit of good. Maybe it gets your anger a little bit out, but you know what else could? If you have to stop, you just close your eyes and say, thank you, I'm here, Lord. That's a prayer. Proceed. Jesus talked a lot about the way of peace, the way of grace. The Apostle Paul closes all of his letters with grace be unto you, peace be unto you. I don't have any of the epistles ending in, make sure you call the guy who cut you off a bad name. I don't see it anywhere in here. And there's quite a few letters in here. I don't see Jesus telling his disciples, go out and cut off as many ears as you can. No, you know what? In fact, in the garden, he healed the guy that Peter cut the ear off of. We are often our own worst enemies. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee in prayer before you make a move. Well, I don't have time to pray. Yes, you do. You always have time to pray, because prayer can be instantaneous, quicker than that, because the heart is yelling it, and God hears it. The Spirit has put words to it. You don't even have to put words to it. It's something you feel, something you are wanting to give to God to control for you, to make it better for you. It's a relationship. I have a number of friends, a few of them, where we're talking and we'll look at each other and finish each other's sentence because we know we're in tune. We're together on something. That's what God wants with you. It's what God wants with me. Don't forget his commandments. Don't forget his words. This is God talking to us. Hold wisdom. When you get wisdom, let the understanding pour into you. Let it change you. Let it change your point of view. I hope when I look into this the next time, when I study this to preach from or just to read, I hope some of this is brand new to me. And it should be. Because understanding should always be new and delightful. Verse 26, ponder the path of thy feet. Let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. My son, attend unto my wisdom and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. In other words, that thy lips might keep shut when they need to. Okay? Oh yeah, well, never mind. Gilda Radner, what was her character? Roseanne? No, Emily Latella. Oh, that's very different. Never mind. That their lips might keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her ending is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou shouldst ponder the path of life, her ways are unstable, that thou canst not know them. Hear me now, therefore, ye children, depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not near the door of her house, lest thou give honor unto the others, and thy ears unto the cruel. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. This is the woman temptation. The woman wisdom is calling us away from the woman temptation in the writings of Solomon. It's not just a woman, though. It's an ideology. It's a philosophy. Get yours and screw everybody else. That's the way of the world. That's the way of temptation. And that's not God's way. God's way is wisdom, peace, understanding, grace, fulfillment, plenty, more than you could possibly ask for, so that you can freely give in all aspects of your life, so that you can freely understand things as they happen, as they come up, so that you'll know the right thing to do. We had my class reunion canceled for this summer. That's sad. But the people who worked on putting it together, I think they were looking at this maybe. I think they found this. What they decided was wise. They were listening to the woman wisdom. They were listening to the woman compassion. It's Mother's Day all over again. Happy Mother's Day. They said, we're going to cancel this for now. You want to hold it next year? Or smart, compassionate, wise, not stupid, and not, well, we should have it anyway, despite the, oh, please, Lord, save me from that. That is the height of ignorance and temptation and stupidity if I've ever heard it. That's not caring for anybody. That's not acting like you might have this and spread it. That's acting like I don't care. That's acting like a petulant little 4-year-old. And we've seen way too many of those morons recently. I'm trying to keep my mouth from saying words like that, but it's aggravating. Okay, better now. You want to argue with his word, don't argue with me. You want to argue with what he's saying here, not with what I'm saying he's saying. You want to look it up for yourself. Don't believe me when I'm saying it's in here. Look it up for yourself. Let God talk to you, not Pastor Dave. Pastor Dave's a human, and Pastor Dave screws up. Okay? I'll try. I try my hardest. But I'm human. Let the author of this planet, let the author of the universe, the builder of everything we know, tell you what's real. Not Facebook, not CBS, not Fox, not CNN, not YouTube videos. Although this one's going to be on YouTube. See? Oh, can opener time, open up the brain, let wisdom bring some understanding. There's some good stuff on YouTube too. Okay? And actually I've been able to minister quite well on Facebook for quite a few people. We have brothers and sisters we've never met yet that are full of anxiety and need your prayers, need you to close your eyes and then open them and see them. See these people, what they're going through. I'm an introvert, so this locking down isolation, this is great for me. This is something I don't struggle with at all. The only problem I'm having is not being able to see everybody in church, not being able to hug people when I want to, not being able to download through the gift of music that God has given me and the friends that I have that we work at music. People say, well, you play music. It's work, and it's glorious, God-driven work, because it's just awesome. But I miss it. And I pray for the day when we can get together and do it again. And I pray for the day when you guys can come here, and hopefully we'll start it out in 2 weeks, and be together. I'm really praying for that. And I'm praying that the virus subsides, not only in our